Hello my beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mayra and today I am going to be sharing with you guys my paranormal experience with the haunted doll while I finish doing my hair, because why not? But before we begin, please don't forget to subscribe down below, like, comment, share, all that fun stuff, and let's get into it. I've already sprayed my hair with the Tresemme heat tamer. Yeah, I use a lot of heat on my hair because it's, this is my hair air dried, like doesn't do much. So let's get into this. And I'm just gonna be straightening my hair because I'm not doing much today. So also, I'm sorry if you can hear my fan and my AC. It is hot. So okay, let's begin. This doll terrorized me, you guys. It really just, and I'm just using my really old ass Conair hair straightener, nothing fancy. Okay, back to the doll. This doll terrorized me for, I don't even know how long. I want to say it was like a year. I don't even know. How did I become the owner of this doll? Well, my mom actually gifted this doll to Alize. I want to say my mom purchased it at La Pulga, the Red Barn. If you know, you know. Right when I got the doll, or right when Alize got the doll, I was so uneasy about it, okay? I mean, there was nothing weird about it. It was just a regular ass doll. Like, it wasn't like, oh, she looked creepy from the start. No, like, it was just a regular ass doll. But the vibes, you guys, the vibe it gave me was so eerie. And I remember Alize didn't pay much attention to the doll, so it wasn't like, oh, it's my favorite doll. Alize was like, whatever about it. Thank you, And Alize was a baby at this point. It was like 9 months. Yeah, she was about 9 months. So at first, nothing really weird, like, went on. Like, it wasn't, like, instant, Just the creepy vibes I was getting from the doll, that's it. But I mean, don't we all get that from dolls? Especially, like, the old porcelain ones? Like, it wasn't until one day that I was folding laundry, and I had the laundry in the living room, and I was taking the laundry back to Alize's room. I was gonna put it away. And I go back to the living room, and the doll was on the couch. When I had left the living room, when I had left the room, the doll was on the floor. It was just laying on the floor. And I remember it very vividly because I picked up the hamper and the doll was like right behind the hamper. So I vividly remember the doll being on the floor. So I come back and the doll is on the couch. Now Alize was already walking, so I didn't think much of it. It wasn't like it wasn't anything creepy, It was like, okay, Alize just probably put the doll there. Whatever. I didn't think much of it. So I'm still doing laundry, right? And Alize falls asleep on the floor. She was playing and she falls asleep. So I just pick her up and I take her to her room. I go back to the living room and the doll is on the floor again. Now at this point, I saw the doll. I didn't notice at first until I went to go pick up the hamper again. Oh my gosh, I'm home alone. I really shouldn't be telling the story while I'm home alone. Anyways, so I go to pick up the hamper and the doll was right where it originally was. Alize was in her room already. When I left the room with Alize, the doll was still on the couch. So I was freaking out a little bit. I have always been a person that believes in good energy and bad energy, good entities, bad entities. So I'm not a skeptic when it comes to like paranormal stuff. I believe paranormal stuff is out there. I am a believer of there is more to our world than what we can see. But I am also a believer of don't mess with that shit, okay? Give it its space, whatever it is, respect it, and they will do the same for you. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but at least you won't be at fault, if they fuck you up or something. I remember telling Omar what had happened when he got home. Oh my goodness. He was just like, you're probably imagining whatever it was. I know what I saw, but whatever. I didn't go into it with him. Oh no, I just realized I didn't put on any highlight. What, bitch? How dare you do yourself like that, Mayra? So anyways, as I was saying, I'm not crazy. I know what I saw and I know what happened. That doll was no longer in my house. I put that shit in the garage and I left it there. Omar has always gone to work super early. He's always started at like 5 in the morning. Now this gives me the chills just to think about. Sometimes I would hear like a weird noise. So it was like my garage and then the wall and then my living room. So sometimes I could hear like on the wall coming from the garage. And the doll was on some racks, some storage racks that Omar had. We also had on the same wall, we also had a water softener. So I would tell myself when I would hear those noises, I would tell myself it's just a water softener, it's just whatever, the water draining or whatever it was. I tried to get rid of this doll multiple times. Omar would not let me, okay? Omar's always been the type of guy, I swear he's gonna be a hoarder when he's like super old. He loves to say, we will need this someday, or this will be useful someday. And Alize being our first daughter, I would always tell him, Alize doesn't even like the doll. Like, she doesn't even play with it, she doesn't pay attention to it. And he would be like, well, we're gonna have other children, like, we can use the doll for them. Or when our oldest daughter would come over, he would be like, she can play with it. Oh my god, you guys. I remember one time I had piled up the trash in the kitchen so Omar would take it out. And the doll, I had stuffed the doll in one of the bags. And I was like, yes, good riddance, you know? Well, Omar comes back with the doll in his hand. He's like, where is this going? I'm like, dude, just get rid of the doll. Like, you don't understand. Everything that I would tell him that I was experiencing, he would never believe me. He was always like, you're imagining stuff. Stop telling yourself these things are happening because your mind is going to play tricks with you. Have you guys ever experienced sleep paralysis? Now, I know that in the Hispanic culture, or, you know, us Mexicans, we call it el muerto se te sube, or like se me subió el muerto. I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Oh my goodness, I just got the chills thinking about it. I started experiencing sleep paralysis every day, and it would only happen after Omar would leave for work. At this point in time, I was still a stay-at-home mom, so I wasn't working, but I would, you know, sometimes I would get up when Omar would leave. Most of the times I wouldn't though, and I would fall back asleep. Well, this is when I was experiencing the sleep paralysis. And you know, if you guys have had sleep paralysis before, you know the feeling. Like, you know, it's like you're awake, but you're not. Like, you're awake, but you can't move. You can't scream, you can't talk, you're pretty much just like a rock. This became a daily thing for me. I was telling my mom one day, and she was like, Reza la Magnifica. Now, this is a prayer. When I was a kid, there was always an owl that stood outside. There was a tree outside my window. The owl always stood on that tree. This owl would like sing. It would like hoo, you know? And I remember my mom telling me to pray this prayer, you know, to say this prayer. And I remember the owl always going away once I started praying. And see, I'm getting the chills. I don't even like to talk about these things. When I told her about the doll and she told me to, you know, rezar la magnifica, I was like, you know what? It has to be like, this is what's gonna work. I started praying, guys, and I am not kidding, guys. I could hear something whispering the prayer after me. So if it was like, glorifica mi alma al Señor, this thing, very faint whisper, would be like, glorifica mi alma al Señor, like after me. Oh my god, I'm getting the chills. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I still remember it, and it was so scary because it was kind of like whatever it was kind of mocking me. As soon as that was over, as soon as like the sleep paralysis went away, I immediately got up and I turned on all the lights in the house and I went and grabbed Alize. She was sleeping in her room already. I went and grabbed Alize and I brought her back to the room with me. I couldn't sleep anymore. I put in my earbuds and I was just watching YouTube videos because I was like, there's no way I'm closing my eyes again. Second sleep paralysis that I had that really fucked me up, and I want to say this was close to where I was like, I have to get this shit out of my house because I was still hearing the noises, you guys. I was still hearing the noises on the wall. I felt so eerie being in my home. The worst was when Alize would nap during the day and I was literally like in the house alone because Omar was at work or whatever. The worst sleep paralysis I ever had. It started off usually, you know, how I usually would. But this time I heard Alize crying. And it was so scary to me because I couldn't get to her. I couldn't move. I couldn't, you know, that's like, I feel like one of the worst fears for parents is not being able to get to your children. Well, I could hear her crying and I could tell her, you know, I was trying my best to be like, I'll be right there, Alize, like, what's wrong? And I couldn't get a word out. I couldn't move. And Alize was bawling. And that was so scary to me, even though it was just sleep paralysis, a dream, or whatever you want to see it as. It was so scary to me because it felt so real. How did I get rid of this doll? Well, after the whole Alize crying thing, I was like, no, I'm not gonna have this shit in my house anymore. We were gonna have a garage sale. And I told Omar I was gonna get rid of a bunch of Alize's toys because she wasn't playing with a bunch and she had way too many. I brought out a bag of toys and Omar was like, oh, let me see, like, you know, being Omar, he's like, let me see, maybe there's still some useful toys in there. I was like, no, like, there's nothing in there. The doll was in the bag. So I didn't want him to look through it. I don't know. Like, what was his thing about me trying to get rid of that doll? Like, he was just not having it. I waited until Omar was busy with, you know, people asking questions. And I took the doll, I put it in a bag, and I threw that shit in the trash. I was like, this is it. Like, goodbye, doll. Good riddance. Out of my life forever. I was so happy when I put that shit in the trash. And that is how I got rid of it. I know what you guys are thinking, like, well, why didn't you do that earlier? Why didn't you do that sooner? Why did you wait for all that shit to happen to you? Guys, I tried. I really tried. And Omar would always find a way to find the doll. Like, I tried so many times to get rid of it. And one way or another, Omar would always be like, no, like, don't get rid of it, you know? And, you know, back then, how things were, I would avoid the smallest confrontations with him because I was not gonna go through it, you know, having to fight over a stupid doll. Do you guys want to know the scariest part of all of this? Omar and my mom don't even remember the doll. My mom doesn't remember buying it. My mom doesn't remember gifting it to Alize. Omar doesn't remember fighting me to keep the doll. And that just fucks with me so much because I know what I went through. I know what I experienced. And for them to not even slightly remember is so scary to me. Like, was this doll fucking with them mentally? I really shouldn't be putting this much shit in my hair because with everything going on, the fires and stuff, I'm just gonna like ignite or something. So that was the story of the haunted doll, and that was my experience with it. And honestly, it low-key traumatized me. For my own children's toys, like, they don't have dolls like that anymore. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please don't forget to subscribe down below, like, comment, share, all that fun stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe out there, and I will see you very soon.